Magic the Gathering core sets are often filled with overlooked commander gems due to their contentious relationship with Standard and Limited. Though there have been exceptions, core sets usually take place outside any specific story, instead focusing on providing moderate reprints, subtle cards to synergize with upcoming mechanics, and also they serve as a great spot for attempts at answers for emerging problems. Though vital to the overall health of Magic as a game, when viewed in isolation, many Magic the Gathering players consider them to be underpowered and even unimpressive. But again, that is an impression that is caused largely through the lens of Standard and Limited, because for Commander, they have been an absolute boon. You see, core sets actually give great gifts to the Commander format, whether it is in outrageously exciting legendary creatures, or just isolated yet impactfully distinct spells. And Adventures in the Fallen Realms is absolutely dripping with hot new toys for Commander. But Magic the Gathering's newest set, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, is not a core set. It simply takes the place of a core set. It isn't designed like one. It doesn't have the reprints that one has. It doesn't have the rules that one has. Wizards of the Coast has said it isn't a core set, but it's what we're getting instead of one, and, well, it's really fun to draft, but I wouldn't buy and crack packs if you're doing anything other than that. That isn't to say there aren't cool cards for Commander in here. In fact, when I looked over this set, I saw a lot that I wanted for Commander. So much so that I really had a hard time limiting my list to only 5 cards and an honorable mention, but I got there. So presented here is the creme de la creme for Commander. The singles I think should be the top of most players' buy list, because remember, packs are for draft, but if you're playing 100-card decks, you don't need to crack packs, just buy these 5 cards instead. But first, a quick word about this video. This video is brought to you by Audible. I love that I get to just give you a free audiobook if you follow my link and try out Audible today, because hey, it's a free audiobook. But today I'm offering you so much more. So as an Audible member, you will get 1 credit every month, good for any title in the entire premium selection. And that's major value by itself. But you also get full access to the Plus catalog. It's filled with thousands and thousands of audiobooks, original entertainment, guided fitness, and meditation. This month, I recommend you check out a new favorite sci-fi fantasy that I recently finished enjoying myself, The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is the first book of an epic trilogy by the critically acclaimed, 3-time Hugo Award-winning and New York Times best-selling author. It's a riveting and imaginative sci-fi story about a dismantling of the Earth in both the literal and the metaphysical sense, all while suggesting the possibility of a richer and more fundamental escape. And if you use my code, you can listen and enjoy this title for free, or just pick whatever title in Audible's vast library that interests you. And you know what? You can always just try Audible for 30 days risk-free on me. So start listening with a free 30-day Audible trial and get full access to thousands and thousands of all-you-can-listen audiobooks, original entertainment, and podcasts included in the Plus catalog. Visit audible.com/Tolarian Community or text Tolarian Community to 500-500. Hey, Magic the Gathering players are all about value, and this is where that value is. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this video. Now, of course, I must open with the usual disclaimer that I am talking about Commander cards for the 99. Not, I repeat, not the plethora of lovely legendaries that would make for an awesome Commander. Quite frankly, this set is overflowing with those, and while I already made a video on my personal favorite, there's at least half a dozen others that I'm likely to begin brewing with as well. No, this video is talking about cool Commander cards to pick up as part of the 99. But I need to start with an honorable mention of something I think is an overwhelmingly awesome addition to the 99 of a deck, but yeah, that's just it. Tiamat, Minion of the Mighty, and Temple of the Dragon Queen only go in one deck. 5-color dragons. hey, it's awesome if you're playing with Scion of the Ur-Dragon or the Ur-Dragon itself. And yes, you can absolutely run Tiamat as your commander, but I want to talk about it as part of the 99. Tiamat is a legendary creature, a dragon god for 2 generic and Wooburg. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, no trickery allowed, search your library for up to 5, count them 5 dragon cards, not named Tiamat, that each have different names. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Talk about a tutor. I still prefer Scion as my dragon commander, but being able to cast Tiamat and grab 5 dragons to refill my grip is a great toy to play with. When combined with Temple of the Dragon Queen, which lets me choose a color and tap to add 1 mana of the chosen color, but will enter the battlefield tapped unless I reveal a dragon or control a dragon, well, that really helps with fixing for any missing color. And given that, again, this is run in a dragon deck, it is highly unlikely it's ever going to enter tapped. But best of the 3 and most exciting to me is Minion of the Mighty, a kobold whose pack tactics means whenever it attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, you may put a dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. And no, it doesn't go away at the end of combat. It's just there. Yours. Oh my goodness. It's an overwhelming power-up to an already overwhelmingly powerful deck, but it only goes in that deck, dragons. And that's why I've kept all 3 of these as honorable mentions only. For the true list, I'm setting my sights on cards that go in a multitude of decks, have myriad applications, and so at number 5, we're gonna start with Oswald Fiddlebender? Oswald is a legendary gnome artificer, but remember, we're talking about them in the 99 here, for a white and a mana of any color. We can spend white and tap and sacrifice an artifact. Search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact's mana value. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate this only as a sorcery. What a cool little gnome! And while obviously commanders like Osgir and Breya and other artifact synergy builds are going to love going wild with it, I think the wider application is just being great in a huge swath of decks. Sacrifice a treasure token or a clue for anything from a soul ring to a skull clamp. Super versatility. Or go on and say goodbye to that soul ring and tutor up your painter's servant or doubling cube. What I love about this is how specific decks can find good use for it. My beloved Teysa Orzhov Scion will absolutely enjoy sacrificing an Orzhov Signet for the blasting station I need to combo off. And so I feel Oswald is a great pickup for white decks big and small. Coming up next is a reserve list card that they accidentally reprinted. Oh yes! Well, okay, no, but Circle of Dreams Druid is triple G for an elf druid that you tap to Gaia's Cradle. I mean to add 1 green for each creature you control, which is Gaia's Cradle. Look, it's Gaia's Cradle. I don't care that it's on an elf, and I don't care that it costs triple green to cast. Alright, I do care that it costs the triple green, but nonetheless, it's Gaia's Cradle. Now, obviously, if you want a Gaia's Cradle for Commander, all you have to do is hit Command Print, because it's casual kitchen table magic and proxies are 100% okay. But after you have done that, you still might want to add this little elf to your deck, even if you're not in mono green. I think most Selesnyan commanders, from Savala to Karametra to Tristani tokens and Captain Sisay's heroes, are all going to love this card. Yes, the second it comes into play, it gives itself a big bullseye for removal from the rest of the group, but that in itself is a kind of advantage. You force your opponents to waste removal on a measly elf as you ready your, I don't know, Llanowar Abomination or Omnath. Not to mention, most of the decks running this will be packing everything from asceticisms to Voices of Plenty to Sigardas alike, each working to make it so this card is less and less likely to die to removal. The biggest drawback, of course, is that triple green, and as soon as you start thinking about tricolored commanders, this becomes less likely to make the cut. But still, it's a Gaia's Cradle on a stick, and that is something absolutely worth considering for a host of decks. Coming in at number 3 is a card that did double duty by also making my video list of best cards for the modern format from Forgotten Realms, and that card is Guardian of Faith. What can I say? It's great in Modern, and it's incredibly great here in Commander. The first comparison in my mind is to Teferi's Protection, the must-run, all-purpose emergency button for when you need to phase everything out and avoid a death blow. But Teferi's Protection lacks a lot of flexibility. It's all or nothing, and while Guardian lacks the ability to phase out non-creatures, which certainly is a great thing to be able to do when someone's looking to wipe out your lands or Cyclonic Rift you, it does let you choose which creatures phase out, which leads to combat trickery and strategic blocks. And of course, this still protects tokens and keeps counters and enchantments on creatures. What's more, since it's on a body, everything from Cloud Shift to the newly released Teleportation Circle, as well as the myriad of flicker effects, can get extra use out of it. And since it has a converted mana cost of 3, Sun Titan can bring it back from the graveyard as well. Great addition and a definite pickup. So what are the top 2 cards for the 99 from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms for Commander? Well, I tried to spread out my picks to get a diversity of colors and types represented. I still had to be true to what I saw, and so these 2 top slots are both black cards, but in my defense, they are dramatically different black cards. As number 2 is a delightful little toy called Vorpals Sword. Vorpals Sword costs a mere black. It's an equipment that reads, equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has death touch, and you can equip for double black. Ah, but what's this? For 5 of any color, and black, and black, and black, until end of turn, Vorpals Sword gains. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. Oh my. It's cards like this that make me wonder if the evil Tolarian State University instructor isn't just a fun character I made up, but my true self. Because all I want to do when I see this card is slam it in for an over-the-top and under-the-radar win. But before we get to that, an equipment giving the bearer death touch is by itself a great little perk. This is actually an uncommon effect for an artifact, and something a lot of decks will find advantageous. Chump blockers with death touch for days is a mighty fine deterrent after all. But we don't want to block, we want to win! And the only thing standing in our way is a mana cost of 8. 3 of which is black. Well, hey, that's no problem for Yawgmoth's son, who will let you broker in life for Phyrexian glory. Nor is it really all too much for the plethora of black mana makers in Commander, from the recently reprinted Cabal Coffers to an old-fashioned Priest of Yawgmoth, or maybe just the easy fixing of his tomb at Urborg. It's also worth remembering that you don't need to spend the 8 mana until after blockers are declared. So if you know your attacker is getting stopped before dealing combat damage, you don't have to spend the 8. What an annoying, irritating, pain-in-the-butt card. I love it. I'm sorry, I guess I'm a bad person. Hashtag no regrets. So what's the number 1 pickup for Commander from the Forgotten Realms Magic set? I already said it was in black, and so you should probably have guessed it, because that pick is none other than Griselbrand himself. Griselbrand is Griselbrand isn't in this set. And he's banned in Commander. I guess I'll have to pick the next best thing, Asmodeus the Archfiend. Asmodeus costs 4 generic and double black for a legendary devil god, and he comes with a binding contract. If you would draw a card, exile the top card of your library face down instead. Spend triple black and draw 7 cards. Or just spend a black and return all cards exiled with Asmodeus the Archfiend to their owner's hand, and you lose that much life. Okay, so this isn't Griselbrand, but you see the connection I'm making here, right? Draw 7 cards, only Asmodeus puts them in exile instead of into your hand. So you pay 1 more black, you get them in hand, but you lose the life. They're trying to play it safe. And boy, is that binding contract not going to be much fun when it comes time to just draw a card for the turn or any bonus card draw effects you may have. But there's ways around it, and they are both easy and fun. Now the obvious one, of course, that everyone's pointing out is Necrotic Ooze, proving that it continues to be broken. As with Asmodeus in the graveyard and Ooze on the battlefield, you now only have to pay the triple black to draw 7 cards. They will not go into exile, and neither will your normal draws. But along those same lines, I really am eyeballing this for my Maricel the Pretender deck, as here we can just exile Asmodeus and now draw cards like it ain't no thing. And since I was recently channeling the instructor, I can't help but notice that a harmless offering of Asmodeus to an opponent who does not have access to black mana simply shuts down their ability to draw cards. Wow, I guess it's a good thing Zedru the Great-Hearted doesn't have black mana access. Oh, but Blim, comedic genius, certainly is going to find this card hilarious. But again, it was so hard to limit my picks down to just 5 cards from this fantastic new set. This really is a set that Commander players have got a lot of hidden gems in. And did I miss a card that you think is perfect for Commander? Well, let me know in the comments below. And remember, you can start listening with a free 30-day Audible trial and get full access to thousands and thousands of all-you-can-listen audiobooks, original entertainment, and podcasts included in the Plus catalog. Visit audible.com/Tolarian or text Tolarian Community to 500-500. And thank you once again to Audible for sponsoring this video. They've just started previewing Kamigawa Dance Party, a cyberpunk Kamigawa set that will exclusively feature the characters of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, I always thought they were from New York.
Who cares, Brian? Have you not seen the preview images on the official Magic the Gathering Legends Action RPG account and what they've been tweeting?
Wait, didn't that close before it could even get out of beta?
That's unimportant, Brian. Focus. New Orc cards, Warhammer Commander deck. Apparently you have to shout war at the top of your lungs when you cast an orc. I don't want to shout war at the top of my lungs when I cast an orc.